Hello book people, if you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you are not, welcome back. Today we are doing my August TBR, and I will say, looking at the stack of books that I have, it's a pretty long and ambitious TBR, and I also want to pick one or two books from my TBR jar and the prompts. So what I think I'm going to do first is do the two TBR prompts from my TBR jar / box, and then I will show all of the books for the month. But it is ambitious, and I am not totally certain if I'll be able to get through everything. Two of them are kind of like in progress, and then the rest are not, so gonna have to see how that goes. So this is my TBR box, and it's just a random cardboard box that I have with all of the folded up prompts inside. I should probably invest in a proper jar for these, but this is what I got. I'm working with this. So I'm gonna pick out one at a time, and then we'll do two of them and add them to my TBR. Well, the first one is right here. A book that starts with a random letter. Use a letter generator. And then a book with a person on the cover. So I am going to go and use a random letter generator on my phone, which means I have to stop filming for a second to use my phone, and then I will pick the books and come back and go through my TBR. Alright, so I kind of cheated with my prompts a little bit because I did not want to make my reading list / TBR even crazier than I needed it to be. So one of the books is one that was already in my list, and then the other one is new. I am kind of partially through it, but that was not an intentional choice. It was just the first one I saw. So from the random letter generator prompt, I got G. So my choice was Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. And I started this one, and I am not super far into it, I don't think. Also, some of the pages got ruined in this copy, unfortunately. But yeah, I can't seem to find the bookmark, but I have annotated part of this. So I know that I'm somewhere in here, but yeah, so this is going to be on the list. This is not top priority, and honestly, if I'm being for real, I probably will not end up reading this month, but hey, I want to have enough books to sort of fill my time because this is the last month that I have before school kicks in full force, so I want to read as much as I can. But yeah, so Good Omens is my G random letter generator pick. The other one was a cover with a person on it, and this is kind of cheating in two different ways because one, it's like a painting of a person and not a photo of a person, and it was also already on my reading list, but that is Big Swiss by Jen Vegan, which I got recently, and I have been looking for this book forever, and it sounds like it falls into the category of the weird girl lit that I read, so I'm hoping that this is going to be similar vibes to Boy Parts and Mayfly, not necessarily in the horror genre, but just the weird girl, A Certain Hunger, Bunny, those kinds of things. So I'm kind of hoping that is this, but this is my other pick. And also the cover is so funky, so that's my person on the cover for the prompt. Then for books that I am currently reading that I want to finish this month, I have The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I have major beef with this woman because I have read The Inheritance Games, but only the first one, and then I'm reading this, which is the first one in a series. And I know every single time I pick up her books that I am getting into something that is YA and is not the best written book I've ever read in my entire life. But tell me why I get so excited about the concepts of her books, and then I read them and I'm just like, why am I reading it? I feel like they are so formulaic, and it just feels like she's doing insert character with these specific traits. Now, I don't really want to hate on her that much because I will say I am partway through this book and enjoying it to a certain extent, but every time I pick it up, I have no desire. It's just sort of picking it up because it's what I'm reading. It's not because I'm ooh, yes, I want to read that. But I am about almost halfway. So my goal is to finish this tonight, but I'm also trying to finish the final book in A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, so we'll see what ends up happening, but this is really quick, which is nice, but it's still taking me forever because I just really don't care. I just don't find it that interesting. I think it's just that I don't love her writing, but yeah, I have major major beef because like the concepts of her book sound so interesting. Like the Inheritance Games sounds so cool. And then I read it and I think I put it down at about like 25%, and I left it for like a year, and then I picked it back up and finished it, and I swear I cannot remember a single thing about it. So we'll see if this is any more memorable, but so far it's not shaping up to be anything too great. The next book is The Library of Mount Char by Scott Hawkins. I am about that much through, not super crazy far. I brought this camping with me, and this was a great camping book. This is great. I was a little harsh at first. I was supposed to read this last month, but I didn't get to it just because it didn't end up kind of shaping up to be the kind of book that I could finish in that time frame. So I am finishing it this month, and I was hating on it at first. I really did not like it, and then I kept reading because I wanted to just give it a try, and I'm now at page 100, and honestly, I'm into it, and I'm getting it, and it's really, really good. So I think that this will be one that I'll probably end up finishing up next week, but this is like shaping up to be something I think I'll really, really like possibly even 5-star territory. I do not know why, but like the first few chapters of this really just did not work for me. But I think it's because there's a lot that you kind of have to just go without in the first little bit, and then you kind of get more into the characters in the story. This next book is kind of an anomaly in my collection, and by that I mean I got it and it was $8, and then I found out that it's a first edition copy and it's signed. We're gonna look at this. It is signed by the author. I did not know that when I picked it up because there was a very convenient $8 sticker over the signed first edition sticker, so I didn't see that. But I got this when I was at my grandma's and I had nothing to read, and I was like, hey, that sounds interesting. I am not a big like picking up a book without knowing what it is girl, but this sounded really good. This doesn't sound like it's a very popular book, but I also have no idea because I'm not super aware of the things that I don't know, obviously. It just sounds really good. Like I read The Dust Jacket and I was like, oh, I need that. So if I love it, I now have a signed first edition, which is like insane. I have no idea why this was on sale like so cheap. But this is not the only book that I spent very little money on. The next one is also an $8 book because Indigo does have some insane stuff in like the sale area. I think it's so funny though because I have found a bunch of books in the clearance area, and it's always like the books that I waited for and found. The Two Lives of Lydia Bird was one of those, and I didn't end up loving that one, but it was kind of cool to find it for so cheap. So honestly, I'm pretty excited for that. I'm pretty grateful that I found it for so cheap. Next up is Ace of Spades, and this is a book that I've had my eye on for literally ever, and the fact that I found it again for $8 or like $7, I can't believe it. So this is like a YA dark academia sort of thing, and I meant to read it last month, kind of got carried away when I was reading Half a Soul and all those other things, so this one I definitely want to get to this month. But I have literally been keeping my eye on this since it came out, so the fact that I got it for so cheap just makes me so happy. That is like the key word of this video is books for cheap, or cheap. But I don't really know a whole bunch about it. I know a lot of people sort of connected this to like dark academia reads, except if you're wanting to do like YA, but I've heard only great things, so I'm really, really excited about this one. And then my one and only Kindle read that's like on my TBR, because generally when I read on my Kindle it takes me a whole lot longer just because I like to read at night, so I'm not usually on my Kindle as much. I can blow through a book on my Kindle. I have done it before, but I like to take it slower when I use it. So my one book on my TBR for my Kindle is I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones, and that is the Literally Dead book club pick for this month. But other than that, I don't really have a TBR for my Kindle. I do want to read Five Survive by Holly Jackson because I'm trying to read everything that she's ever released ever, which leads me into my next book, which is The Reappearance of Rachel Price by Holly Jackson. I am finishing up the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, and then I want to read Five Survive, and I want to read this, and also the novella that's a part of A Good Girl's Guide to Murder called Killjoy. I'm not sure if that's all of Holly Jackson's novels, but I'm pretty sure it is. Again, I got this on sale, and I have been saving so much money on books. I also have a yearly membership with Indigo, so I get like 10% off every single time I purchase something, and it's just like the most wonderful thing in the entire world, but also totally enables me to buy more than I need to. but I got this. This was the most recent book that I purchased, and I was so excited when I got it because I kind of kept putting it off. I kept seeing it and thinking, yes, I need that. This looks like something I'm going to love because I am a Holly Jackson girly through and through. I have learned this. I was hesitant about reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and then just got so obsessed with it. I binged the series that just came out. I'm not sure how I felt about it because I was just like connecting so much with the book format that seeing it on a screen just didn't really feel right. It kind of reminded me of like a kid's version of Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, like on screen, which I also need to finish watching because I don't think I ever finished that one because I just loved the book so much. But this is like an anticipated read for me 100%. I don't know if I'll pick it up next just because I've been reading so much Holly Jackson, but I definitely want to pick it up really soon. But this is the last book that I have on my TBR. My TBR videos always end up being so much shorter than my other ones, but I think it's kind of nice to do like a short little sit down where I can just talk about things that I want to read without, kind of dragging on too long. I think it's kind of refreshing to have like little, like shorter videos in between everything else. I've got kind of a longer one coming out next week, and it's something I'm really excited about, something that I am not totally used to. The format's a little new for me, so the editing process has been a little bit strenuous, but I don't know, I'm having so much fun. I started my YouTube channel just like on a whim at one point, and I've been having so much fun doing it, and it's really encouraging to, for my reading to film and post videos. So yeah, side little rant over. That was my TBR. Yeah, it's a little excessive. Am I going to read everything? Probably not, but I sure can try. I don't think I'll end up beating 10 books any time this year because that seems to be the cap. I've done 2 months reading 10 books, and yeah, I don't know if I can do that again, but I definitely think that I can still, read a whole lot. But yeah, that is all for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you want to join me again, make sure to subscribe. If you have read any of these books, let me know in the comments, and like if you have read any of these books. But yeah, totally feel free. Give me your opinions in the comments because I am interested to hear what anybody has to say. And if you want to see more of me, I do have an Instagram and a Goodreads, which I always link down in the description. But yeah, thank you for joining me, and I will see you in my next video.